Everybody, and a huge welcome to my timely lives. I'm so excited about this morning's interview. Oh, I've been so hoping I could get this fabulous lady on with me. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about her in just a second. I'm going to make sure everything's coming up and I can see us live. Let me just make sure. Where are we? Are we live? Are we live? Right, come on, guys. Let's get this moving. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. We are live. Excellent. Right. I can now continue happily knowing we're live on screen. We've got quite a few with us this morning. So firstly, a massive thank you to everybody for joining us. I'm Hollie Power. I'm Timely Host, co-founder of Sanology. I'm here today doing my regular 10:30 a.m. slot on a Tuesday morning with somebody who can bring so much enlightenment, information, and a wonderful share here on the Timely platform. Now, my guest today is an extremely special one with over 30 awards to her name, a wellness brand, a chain of multi-award winning salons, and a chart-topping podcast, which I've been on. Simone is absolutely a force to be reckoned with. With a massive passion for helping those with hair loss and skin concerns, Simone is changing the way we manage our wellness. She's helped thousands of those suffering to regain confidence and healthy hair, including me. She is responsible for my long healthy locks. She does this through her supplement programs, her knowledge, and her vast amount of education that she's gone through to get her into the position that she's in today. But she's so much more than just an incredible businesswoman. She's a mama, a wife, and an all-round cheerleader for women. Honestly, you want Simone on your side. She helps so many people on their journeys. She's beautiful inside out. She's kind, she's fun. She's a true businesswoman and a true friend. And I am extremely lucky to count her as one of my closest. I'm so excited to be joined by someone who has changed my life and someone who may change yours. She's here today to talk about wellness, hair loss, and how you can help your clients to overcome their hair loss issues too. Simone, thank you so much for joining us here today.
What an intro. I've got goosebumps.
I loved writing that. I loved writing it.
Morning. That's what I needed. I've been in a funny situation last week in my head, and that has lifted me up already. So no, thank you. And hello to everybody on Facebook this morning and everywhere that you are.
Well, it's all absolutely 100% true and written 100% from the heart. For those of you that don't know, Simone and I know each other extremely well. We met about 6 years ago. We were up against each other for an award, of which neither of us won, but we won each other in the process. We've become extremely close over the last few years, supporting each other, both on our business journeys, but also on our personal journeys as well. We've become incredibly close friends. In fact, I will be following Simone down the aisle when she gets married next year, which is so exciting. But she just has an incredible wealth of knowledge, and when I speak with Timely and we work out who are the best people to bring to their fabulous platform when they want to share all this wealth of knowledge with their community, we talk about people that we truly believe can bring something of value to their community. And I put my hand up and said, look, I really think we should get this Simone Thomas lady. I might have an in with her. And the team were like, oh my God, this woman looks incredible. I said, she has just been helping people both in and out of the industry, because while Simone owns salons, she's very much in the salon business herself. She also has worked very closely with celebrities, with models, with A-listers, all sorts of other people to help them regain confidence in their hair. And she's going to share some very valuable insights for us today, because we all are... It's very easy to look in the mirror and notice concerns that we have about our health, but we don't always necessarily know why it's happening or how to work with it, how to understand it a little bit better. And it's a very stressful process for people, because we feel our hair, our skin, how we think and feel, our wellness is so intricately important, but now more than ever, it's being impacted and we aren't quite sure how to move forward. So Simone's going to share some very, very valuable insights for us today, because right now we are all feeling a bit off kilter. We're feeling a little bit that we've lost our rhythm and we're on a search for it at the moment. And Simone's going to help us to rediscover a little bit of that by helping us understand what's going on. So first of all, you know, your specification really, Simone, is hair loss. You are a hair loss expert. You have all the qualifications to prove it. You are so smart. And whenever I talk to you about anything that I have concerns about when it comes to my hair or wellness, you just shower me with knowledge and information. But just to start at the basics, what is sort of the main cause for hair loss for people? Where does it all start?
Okay, so this is kind of where my journey went. So people were coming into, as you mentioned earlier, like my salon, you know, suffering from hair loss. And every single thing that we consume, every single thing that we do day to day can trigger imbalances in the body. So when, let's say, when people go for diets, you know, and we all follow the same diet, someone might lose weight, someone might tone up a lot quicker and have more muscle, but it doesn't work for everybody. And it's the same with hair loss. And people are really surprised nowadays that apart from, you know, a lot of us talk about stress hair loss, so telogen effluvium, you know, that's kind of triggered by anxiety, medication and imbalances in the body. You then have other hair kind of loss forms, you know, there's different various forms of by alopecia. And through kind of what I would see day to day in like the last 10 years, you know, I then went and requalified in nutrition and bioenergetics, because it wasn't always just stress. A lot of it was lifestyle, so poor lifestyle habits, you know, getting up in the morning and maybe being a really busy parent, or just, you know, a busy person in a relationship, or having your own business, that you would literally go to work with no breakfast, and then what you were consuming, you know, wasn't of good quality to the body, which would then really affect the gut. Or you'd be taking antibiotics, or you'd be a fan of Coca-Cola and Red Bull and, you know, takeaway meals. So literally everything that we do day to day can have a negative effect on the body, whether it's with hair, with skin, with gut health. And for many of us, we're creatures of habits. You know, like some people will always have the same breakfast every day and, you know, don't have kind of diversity. And then eventually over time, you know, 6 months later, something starts to go wrong. So, you know, hair quality feels a lot less, or, you know, your skin feels tired or puffy, or you just feel like you're older, or you're, you know, haven't got the energy. So there really is, I would say now, every single thing that you can do day to day, unfortunately, can have a negative effect on the body. And because hair's not vital, and this is where, you know, some people, whether it's clients in people's salons that are watching today, have gone to maybe a doctor and said, you know, my hair's falling out or it's thinning. And the doctor says, oh no, it's in your head. You know, I can't see anything. You look like you've got a full head of hair. Because hair's not vital, when there is something going wrong in the body, or there's a deficiency or an imbalance, your hair will change, because your body cannot keep up to keep that hair growing in the state that we need to. So the hair growth cycle changes. So it literally, unfortunately, can affect every single one of us at some point in our lives. It doesn't for the majority, but it can do. And it's always outside influences, unless it's genetic based, which sometimes people then, you know, because your father's bald or your mother, you then can. But for everybody else, unfortunately, it can affect us at some point in our lives for sure.
So is there, do you think if somebody sort of came to you and said, oh, look, Simone, I feel like my hair is thinning or it's breaking and I'm having a problem with it, would you suggest that there's quite high percentage chance that those issues had actually been incurred maybe months before, and it's not something that's being done at that point? It's kind of the ongoing effect of something that we're doing or a way that we're living that we're not realizing maybe is impacting how our hair grows.
Definitely. I mean, when I kind of speak to people, or I write, you know, because I write for a lot of the national tabloids and the magazines, and when you're kind of being asked to contribute, they're always really surprised. They're like, oh, I have 250 words. I'm like, 250 words? I'll give you 250 pages on the topic. And yeah, when people come to see me, or, you know, my guys in the salon, we look at 3 years, which people are probably thinking 3 years, like that's a long time. But let's just say right now, you know, we've been in lockdown, you know, on and off since last year. It's caused stress for everybody. We're all suffering from anxiety, and, you know, we're all kind of wound up tight inside, and we're just going, you know, we're just waking up every day doing what we're doing. It's only when we're going to get to breathe you know, at the middle of this year or next year, that people are then going to start to notice differences in the body, and they might start to lose their hair. And it's a bit like the fight and flight mode, because we're just going, you know, it's like routine every day. It's only when you take a breath that then you can start to notice issues. So we always look at kind of a 3-year cycle, and it's the same with bereavement. Let's say somebody's passed away, you know, it might have been a year or 18 months ago, but you're only now starting to feel like you've got to terms with it. And again, your body's gone, oh, like I can breathe, and then the imbalance comes. So yeah, we always look at a 3-year cycle. For some, it could just been a month ago, you know, for those that maybe have had a baby, you know, didn't breastfeed or have breastfed, because of hormone imbalances, hair starts to shred, which is very common, but sometimes it can go on to be more chronic. And then that's where you need to kind of intervene and start adding things into the diet with food and supplements and lifestyle and stuff as well.
Sarah's asking in the audience, she's asking, how important is sleep to your whole wellness and anxiety and hair and everything? Is that an important element that we need to be taking note of?
Yeah, I would say that is in my top 5. So obviously you know me very well. And for those listening, I always call the gut the mothership. Like, to me, the gut is the most important thing that is in our body. You know, yes, the brain is doing what we're doing now, but it's the gut. And water, food, and sleep. Sleep is so important because it's when your body rests. It's a bit like, you know, driving from, let's say, where we are today in Dorset to Scotland. You know, if you did that in your car, 7-8 hour journey, the thing would be overheating. Like, you need to stop, the car needs a rest, you need a pit stop, you need to refuel. And it's the same at nighttime, you know, and a lot of us, unfortunately, are going to bed late. We're watching Netflix on screens, we're on our phones. There's a lot of blue, you know, interactive light, which unfortunately then creates you to become more awake than that kind of going to sleep like a sleepy bear and having a good, you know, 9, 10, 11 hours if you can in some cases. But yes, sleep's definitely important because, you know, it affects your thyroid, it affects your gut, it affects your hormones, it affects how you feel in the morning. And all of us, you know, if we've gone out and partied and we've not had much sleep, guaranteed on Monday you feel groggy, you may be a bit sensitive, you might be a bit more teary, you know, your skin is dull, you just don't feel well, you might get a sore throat. And it'll all be obviously what you've put in your body, but the fact that you're probably operating on 4 or 5 hours sleep. And for any mums that have had children, you know, out there, or still got children that maybe wake up in the night, you know, if you have 4 nights of disturbed sleep, it's a killer. You know, you row with your partner, you don't feel like yourself, you're more likely to go for a chocolate biscuit or more coffee. So yes, sleep, I would definitely say, is in my top 5 of kind of recommendations. And it's one thing we always look at when we're looking at hair and skin complaints is we always ask people to do like a 3-day diary, and it's everything from how they feel to what they put into the body and to how they sleep. You know, are they waking up in the night? And all of that has a knock-on effect, and all of that will then need rebalancing for sure.
Absolutely. Now, we're obviously in a funny period of time at the moment where people are feeling a little bit, like I said, a little bit unstable, a bit out of kilter. How do you think what people are going through at the moment is affecting not just hair, but also your overall wellness, mental health, that sort of thing? What sort of impacts have you seen there?
God, I mean, from the first lockdown, I mean, literally, we saw a lot of people that were suffering with anxiety that then resulted in hair loss. And last week, you know, I hit a brick wall, and I'm not somebody that struggles. You know, I'm quite a strong person. I'm normally there for everybody. And I would say last week, I cried more last week in a day than I have in 10 years. And I had a peer group, a Zoom, and you have to do about the good, the bad, the ugly of your 4 weeks to kind of, you know, talk about the bad, then talk about the good and the exciting. I couldn't even get the words out. I just blubbered, and luckily my video wasn't on. So I think all of us, you know, are suffering, you know, whether you're single and you're on your own, whether you're in a relationship that's happy or maybe not happy, or you've got children and then you're juggling staff. Every part of our body and every part of our life is just, it's like a Rubik's Cube. It's like you can either get them or you can't. And I think for many of us, you know, you just feel very, you know, out of all sorts. And it's very hard to say to people, you know, stick to routine, because, you know, the weather's not great. We are in a funny time of year where a lot of people suffer this time of year anyway with anxiety and depression because it's quite dark and grey. But all of us are struggling. And I think one thing I've learned is don't put pressure on yourself. Don't, feel that you haven't achieved something if you've only done one thing that day. And I try to write a list of 5 things every day. And it might, sound stupid, like at the moment with my boys, tidy their wardrobe, then deal with emails. Don't sit on my emails all day. And it's just literally, if I can get 3 of those 5 things done in a day, I'm happy right now, because I am literally juggling the boys. My best friend's the bloody dishwasher in the washing machine right now. And it's like, I don't know how many times I have to load it and unload it and then fold the clothes. And it's all the things, and being stuck in 4 walls, it does get you down. And there's no miracle cure, but I will say, sleep's really important. And looking at what you're putting in your body, don't use this time to not grow, to not become a better version of yourself. And, it's not about creating loads of tasks. It's like, pick one thing to concentrate maybe on the month. And that might be, I know yours at the beginning of the year was to drink more water. So you bought one of those incredible, massive,
a huge gallon. Yeah.
And it's like, do that for 30 days. And then if you found that easy to incorporate, pick something else, and just don't overcomplicate it, and just look at what you're doing day to day, your sleep, your food, reducing coffee, exercise, even just squatting to do the dishwasher, whatever. There's always ways to be able to do these things, for sure.
Definitely. I think we can tend to try and overcomplicate things, can't we? Where we sort of suggest, right, let's try and I'm going to exercise every single day, and I'm going to go on this diet, and I'm going to try and drink all this water, and I'm going to try and take my supplements, and I'm going to not blow dry my hair for the whole time, and I'm going to try and do this. And we try and do so much that we just become overwhelmed by it. But as you say, just pick one thing, focus on it. What's most important: the rehydration of your body, or really good quality sleep, or really good food. Something I read once, and you'll be able to clarify if this is, I'm sure it's true, but I'm not sure quite how it works, but that everything that goes into your body to sort of recreate the health of your hair is all based on everything that we consume. And if we're consuming rubbish food, then our hair is going to be of lower quality. Is that right? Does it affect it to that impact?
It does. And I mean, it will affect everything. So, the way that you're feeling. So anxiety, if you suffer from depression, if you're having a bad mood. And again, it comes down to my favorite part of the body, the mothership, the gut. And, when people come in to see me, or I talk to them online, I say to them, right, your 3-day food diary, if I gave you a bath and you put everything that you do in those 3 days, you write Post-it notes of how you feel, you put something in to resemble exercise. Are you going to go to that bath in a week and it's going to be beautiful, colors, and it's going to smell amazing? Or are you going to go and it's going to look awful? It's going to look, boggy and dark and moldy and smelly. And that's how you have to look at the body, about everything that you put in. And this is not saying, to go vegan and to be boring and to be clean. It's always about balance.
You say vegans are boring, so
they're not being boring. I mean, as in, like, not to have fun, have a glass of wine, have a gin, and have a chocolate bar. But it's about understanding, I think, where foods change. And, and everything that we do is around food. It's how we operate day to day. And food has changed so much because we have to grow so much food that, chemicals are put into crops to cultivate them, to make us having more yields of crops than we used to. And, I see this a lot with children that have hair loss and suffer with ADHD. And the connection, aside from hair loss, is a lot of chemicals. So, for example, like MSGs, Marmite. So many parents give their kids Marmite on a Cracker Jack or a rice cake, but you're loading them with MSGs, and then they have this hyperactivity, and then they don't sleep. So it is all down to what you put into your body, and some are blessed with incredible genes, don't get me wrong, like all of us have genetics from our, our parents and our family line. But nowadays, with the way that the world operates with food, with chemicals, how much of our food is made in a factory and it's not from, the ocean, the ground, the tree, a lot of it has got other products in that our guts and our bodies just don't like. And then it does cause, disturbances, anxiety, hair loss, skin issues and stuff as well.
You touched on what children are consuming. Have you seen an increase in children who've had hair concerns, would you say, from COVID? Or from this whole period of time?
Yeah, I've had a lot of teenagers suffering from hair loss, not because they've had COVID, but more because of the stresses that have been caused of the situation. But I've had a lot of adults that have had awful hair loss due to COVID of different extremes. But a lot of the children, you know, up to kind of age 16 that are GCSE and A level, they haven't had COVID. Theirs has just literally been, unfortunately, the situation of being removed from, you know, school, you know, not being able to be with their friends. And if you think about, you know, at 16 as a girl or a boy, you know, you're turning into a young adult. You know, it might be your first boyfriend or your first girlfriend, and all of that's been taken away. And that's how you start to develop and learn a bit more about the world and society. And it's very hard, you know, and a lot of the homes maybe aren't set up for them to work there every day. Like, not all families have got iPads or Wi-Fi, and, you know, the stress that's or the space, you know, it's very, very hard. And even I struggle, you know, I've got Ashton that's 5 and William that's nearly 4, you know, and I feel I'm lucky if I get 2 hours worth of work done a day, because, you know, they fight, you know, and it's then breakfast, lunch, dinner, organizing, you know, it is very, very hard. And that's why, you know, like earlier I said, like, don't put too much stress on yourself right now. It's a very, very hard situation. And, you know, if you're looking after your body, you're going to feel better that you can deal with those awful situations where maybe a staff member, you know, messages you, or, you know, you have a disagreement with a partner or a friend. You're more likely to be able to cope with it a lot better.
Absolutely. Now, many of the people in the audience, Simone, are going to be salon owners. So they may be people with a beauty salon or a hair salon, and they're going to be seeing their clients hopefully next month after. And there'll be some people in Australia and New Zealand watching this who are currently with their clients. What would be your advice to them so they could help their clients who are going through these concerns? How can they help them with, from a mindset point of view, and also from a wellness point of view, to help them if they're experiencing hair loss, particularly those in the hair salons? They might be seeing a significant change in their clients when they come back. What can they do? How can they help them?
I think with hair loss, it's a very sensitive subject for clients. Like, a lot of them don't necessarily want somebody to say, oh, I think you're losing your hair, you know, and it's kind of how you approach it. And many salons are different. And, you know, in ours, you know, when a client comes in, we always like touch the shoulders and try to relax them, you know, before a treatment. And I think it's about, firstly, the relationship you have with them, but also you're going to have so much to catch up on, you know, whether it's been 3 months or 6 months. So I think it's saying to them, you know, you know, have you noticed changes? You know, how does your hair feel to you? You know, what is it that you do like, or what is it that you don't like, or what have you been doing at home? And they might say, well, you know what, the last couple of months when I'm washing it, I'm noticing more hairs falling out, so I've just decided not to wash it as often. And then you're like, okay, well, you know, one, it can be the natural hair growth cycle. So obviously our hair is meant to shred at certain times, you know, in the hair growth cycle. But then it's like, well, actually ask them, you know, how much is coming out? And if they are concerned, they've probably taken a picture. They've probably gone and got the hair, and at some point taken a picture, because they would have sent it to their, you know, their best friend or their own mother or a family member to say, you know, is this normal? And then, you know, there's so much information that you can read about hair loss. It's understanding the different types. And as a hairdresser, you know, when you're touching a client's hair, you're going to know if it's got active hair loss. You know, is there more hair on their clothing? Is it coming out in the brush more? Is it coming out when it's, you know, being washed and stuff as well? And a lot of them will probably have shampoos already, or conditioners that are geared up for rejuvenation of, you know, the follicles and healthier, you know, scalp, and to promote hair growth. So most salons, I believe, nowadays would have touched upon the triggers or the basic things to look out for. But it is definitely worthwhile, you know, for salons to look to make this a long-term investment, you know, whether that is going down the trichology route, you know, with the owner or a member of staff, or just doing an intro course, or, you know, for example, you know, we work with Trenco, which is a wig supplier. They do great courses, you know, and it's a great addition to salons to offer that service. But definitely having, you know, a meeting with your team and saying, you know, clients are going to come back with anxiety. They are going to have maybe a different feel to their hair. You know, how comfortable are you in approaching, you know, hair shredding, telogen effluvium? Someone I saw earlier posted on your group about hair pulling disorder. You know, how do you help clients with that? And again, that comes down to anxiety and food and lifestyle. But yeah, it's definitely something I think people are going to see a lot more of. I think you're going to also see it in your younger clients, not just in your older clients, because the younger generation are definitely suffering. You know, they're very, very trapped. So I think you will notice that a lot of clients' hair does feel very different. And also the hair will take differently. So we noticed last year with a lot of COVID clients, when their hair was being coloured, it went completely different to what it used to go like. And that's because everything's been stripped from the hair. So we have kind of said within my own business, if someone has had it quite chronic, we won't colour for 3 months, just because of how the hair has responded for people that have had COVID. And it's like when somebody's had chemo, we wouldn't colour their hair straight away. We always say, you know, wait 3 to 6 months, because it's like baby virgin hair, and you don't want to be putting chemicals, or, you know, not even chemicals, you know, because we do vegan colour, but even still, I would still advise to kind of wait for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what you were saying earlier, and I guess that loops back to this, is that it's not a priority. So your body is going to use all of its nutrients that it has available to it to protect, I'm guessing, its major organs and that sort of thing. And the hair is just kind of one of the last things that gets sort of what's left over. So it's so important to fuel your body with the right stuff. Now, I do want to touch on your brand, which you haven't brought up, but I do think it's important to talk about it, because Simone created a brand, Simone Thomas Wellness, where she's created two hair care brands and a skincare line as well. And I actually use the products myself, because I went through quite bad hair damage, didn't I? Yeah. And I know personally how much that affected my own confidence, and my experience was very, very difficult. And I actually used Simone's salon and went to her incredible team, and they helped me through the journey. And one thing I did do, of course, was start to take the supplements that Simone's brand has created, and they significantly improved the quality of my hair, and subsequently sort of helped me to rebuild my confidence around it. And it's a really, really big thing for me. And I think it's a really, really big thing for a lot of people too. What would you say was the inspiration behind creating your wellness brand?
God, there's so many different sides to this. So there's my business side, and then there's what was going on in my personal life. So from a business side, of kind of 6 years of sitting down with people, 90-minute consultation, of asking about their lifestyle, what had gone on in the last 3 years, a lot of it came down to poor diet, having food that they believed to be the best version of that food, but when they actually then looked at the ingredients, it had chemicals, which again, you know, affects the gut. Also, someone touched upon it earlier, sleep, you know, exercise, water. So it was very lifestyle led. And then on a personal side, there was two things. So I'd lost my hair in my 20s, didn't go into the industry till I was in my 30s, after my mum had passed away, and I saw her hair alter with her illness. And, you know, she was very confident. And I just know that if your hair's not right, I always say to clients, you know, if your hair's your thing and for some reason it goes wrong, it doesn't matter about the house, the car, the handbag, the money in the bank. As a woman, and even as a guy, you just don't want to go anywhere. You know, it can affect you personally, it can affect your relationship, it can affect you going to an event. And I have suffered from that. And I still get anxiety now. And it's crazy, you know, 20 years on, I've got a full head of hair, you know, I love my hair. But in certain situations, I can still go back to how I was 20 years ago, because it's like a mental, physical scar that's within the body. And from a personal side, you know, the kind of the way that the plans work, and I always say to people, it's not about, you know, using a shampoo or conditioner, it's a band-aid. You have to find what the trigger is, whether it's an imbalance through vitamins, minerals, bacteria, stress, lifestyle. You have to find the trigger, and it's not just one thing, it will be a multitude of things. And then it's not about taking one tablet, it's not about just taking magnesium or zinc or a B vitamin, because if you don't change everything else, that vitamin's just going to go down the toilet. You're just going to excrete it. The body's not going to be able to absorb. So when I then kind of took a step back, it was like, right, everybody needs probiotics. We need a healthy gut for everything to become better in the body. And that's where the plans came from. So within them, you know, it's got probiotics, there's super greens, because we're all acidic nowadays due to stress and food and lifestyle. So you have to create a better pH in the body. And then all of us know about biotin. Everybody talks about it. Influencers talk about it all the time. It's a great day-to-day product on top of those for healthy hair, skin and nails. But then it doesn't work so well for those that have got chronic hair loss, you know, where they're losing their hair, or they've maybe been through, you know, virus or medication. So that's where the Ginkgo comes in. But at home, you know, my other half, he suffered quite badly from a seizure, and he's got the most amazing hair. I call him my Cadbury's tray man. He's just got the most amazing hair, doesn't have to bother with it. But it started to fall out, you know, it was shredding on the sofa after him being very unwell. And from there, with what he went through with clients, I was like, I need to make sure that he's having, you know, a better balanced body. And that's really where kind of Simone Thomas Wellness came from years of clients. I then went on to do a diploma in nutrition, because I realized it's not about just looking at the hair and the scalp under the microscope. You know, that takes 5 seconds to look at that. Clients want to know what's going on in their body. So I then went and requalified in nutrition and bioenergetics. And then obviously with my sons and with my other half, it literally came from there, because I was trying to heal him whilst also healing clients. So it really kind of came from 2 different angles. And, you know, it kind of launched back end of 2019. And since then, you know, it's won about 11 to 15 awards. I write on a weekly basis for all the magazines and the national, you know, tabloids, and which I absolutely love, because I'm so passionate about the body and whatever else, that I've got the book, you know, as you know, coming out about it, because I can't write a 1-page article on the body. You know, I've kind of taken the last 4 years to write a book, which, you know, will hopefully be out this spring, summer. And yeah, it kind of comes from a real passion, from a very personal side, my own insecurities still with my own hair and skin, which is crazy, and then obviously what I see day to day with, you know, men, women, children, and also transgender, because they're going through a lot of changes, and the drugs they take really affects their hair. So it is also to really help that community, which, you know, we have a large community within my business that come in for makeovers and hair transformations.
I think what's so powerful about what you've put together, Simone, is that it comes from a culmination of your own experiences and knowledge. And we see so many brands out there who just put something together and chuck it out to the wider market, and it never has any sort of foundation of feeling behind it. Whereas what you have created has been something you've built from your own soul, really, because you've seen this concern that you've had in yourself, you've seen it in your clients, and you have created a solution for a problem that is quite debilitating for people. And as much as some people might say, well, it's just hair, it's not just hair. Hair is everything. And it, as you say, I mean, your brand was even crowning glory within your hair loss clinic. And it is true, it is your crowning glory. And it's such a powerful thing. I've had loads of people commenting, talking that they are using your supplements. They're about to start. Tegan, it has changed her hair. Nikki is getting started. Leslie saying this is so interesting. Kirsty saying this is great advice, thank you. How do we get in touch with you, Simone? Guys, get in touch with Simone. She's Simone Thomas on Facebook, Simone Thomas Wellness. You can contact her on Instagram as well, and reach out on her website. It's simonethomaswellness.com, and you can make contact with her through her website also. She's, as you can see, very, very freely sharing her information and her knowledge to help people on their journey. And people who do have salons, there can be connections made as well too, if you would like her supplements to help your clients as well. Simone, thank you so much for joining us. I always love a bit of time with Simone, of course, but I'm very excited to share her wonder with everybody else. I have huge respect for who she is as a businesswoman, what she's created, but I just love how much it comes from her heart and how truly passionate she is about what she does and what she delivers. And it has impacted so many people that I know within our communities where they've connected with Simone, and she has had a massive impact both on their journeys but also their clients' journeys as well. So get in touch with Simone. Simone, again, thank you. Guys, I'll be back again next week, 10:30 again. I'm going to be with the fabulous Susan Routledge, an absolute icon in our industry, a lady who has done so much for so many salons. So I'm very, very excited to get to connect with her, and very, very much look forward to seeing you then. Have a terrific Tuesday, everybody. Again, Simone, a massive thank you for joining us today. I know you have shared so much knowledge and it's helped so many people, and I know you'll continue to do so. So much love, Simone. Much love to our wonderful audience today. Have a fabulous Tuesday, everybody. And we'll see you again soon.